Hi, good morning and welcome to my channel. This is Ola Additional of All Things Natural. This morning I have an herbal remedy for us for hair loss, and I'm going to be doing a lot of series on herbal remedies on hair loss because hair loss seems to be a common problem that everybody is talking about now. So I am going to jump right into it. No stories. I'm going to go ahead and jump into the herbal remedies, and these remedies you can do by yourself at home. I'm going to be telling you some things that you can supplement just in case you cannot find some of the ingredients that I'm using here today. So I'm doing a scalp scrub. It helps to stimulate blood to the scalp. It helps to regrow your hair if you do not have very serious forms of alopecia that requires a medical professional to look into. So this hair scrub is made from herbs, and you can use to scrub your scalp at least twice a week for you to be able to see results. And don't forget that you have to be consistent. With anything, you have to be consistent. This morning, I'm using 4 ingredients. The first one is rosemary leaves. Rosemary leaves. The second one is aloe vera leaf, dry aloe vera leaf. The third is called amla, dehydrated amla. Amla is an Indian herb. And the last is the black castor oil. I'm sure all of you are familiar with castor oil, but this is the black castor oil. Those are the 4 ingredients that I'm going to use. All of my measurements I am going to link in this video. I am going to put a description of the measurements in this video, but I am going to jump right into it and start mixing. This is my dehydrated amla. I just took a scoop and it goes into this. This is my rosemary. Amla is an Indian herb. It is good for hair growth. It helps the hair to grow. It helps to strengthen the hair. And with time, when you use amla, amla kinds of serves like a dye to darken your gray hair. So this is rosemary. Rosemary is very effective in hair growth. Research has shown that rosemary can be compared to a hair growing oil that has been sold in market. The active ingredient in rosemary has been compared to that particular hair growth oil that is being sold here in the United States. Rosemary is very powerful. It helps to stimulate your hair follicles. It helps to promote hair growth. I'm adding it to the amla, and this is aloe vera. Aloe vera is very popular, and this is just the dry leaf. This is just a dry form of aloe vera. Everything I'm using this morning is dry. And I'll take a scoop. This is my aloe vera and put it in there. So in here I have my aloe vera, I have my amla, my dehydrated amla, which is an Indian herb, and have my rosemary. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and match it up. What I'm doing basically is I am breaking it up. If you have another way that you can break this up, absolutely you can do that. You can use like a dry blender to break this up. I'm trying to get it into a powder form as much as I can. While I was doing this, I didn't think about the dry blender. I actually have a dry blender at home, but I am not going to stop to go get it. I'm just going to use this. See, this is what I'm doing. I'm just going to match it up. If you do not have a dry blender at home, you're just going to go ahead and and match this up, which is what I'm doing. As much as possible, you want to get it into a powdered form. And don't forget that I said that all of this is dry. The aloe vera is dry. The rosemary, they're dry. They are not fresh. My amla dehydrated is dehydrated. That means it's dried already. Everything I'm using is dry because we are not going to be putting any form of preservative in this thing. So I want to make sure that everything that I'm using does not contain water. If you decide to use dry aloe vera, wet aloe vera, you might have to research where to get a preservative. Anything that contains water and not properly preserved would bring about bacteria and fungi and all of that, and you don't want to add to what is going on in your scalp already. So this is going to be a dry solution. Oil, even though I'm using castor oil, black castor oil, anything that has oil, as long as water is not introduced in it, does not require you to preserve it. That's why all the stuff I'm using are things that I do not need to put a preservative in. So it looks like my herbs are ground. If you need to grind it finely, if you need it to be finely ground, then you need to do it more or use your dry blender. This is done, and I'm going to go ahead and use my castor oil. Some people would say, what is the difference between a regular castor oil and a black castor oil? In my own opinion, I feel like the black castor oil works more for me. And so I also have the clear castor oil, but in most of my mixing and most of the things that I do, I prefer to use black castor oil. So I'm just going to go ahead and drop the castor oil and then mix this. It looks like it's not going to be enough, so I'm going to go ahead and add more of that into my herbs, and I go ahead and I mix. You don't want the oil to be, you don't want the herbs to be swimming in the oil. You don't want the oil to overshadow the herbs. You just want just enough to be able to saturate your herbs, which is what my aim is. It's always better if this is in very fine, not very fine, at least medium fine powder form. You don't want to make it too powdered, because then if it's too powdered and you apply it on your scalp, it will take a long time for you to be able to rinse it out. So not too fine, but medium fine, so that when you are scrubbing it on your scalp, it's not being abrasive. It's not causing tears on your micro tears on your scalp. So not too large, medium fine, and that's it. That's all. This is my rosemary, this is my amla dehydrated, this is my aloe vera. For those of you that might not be able to find amla is online. You can go online and look for amla powder, amla dehydrated. You can go online and search for it. For those of us that will not be able to search for it, you can alternate with chebe powder. Chebe powder is something that I've seen that is very common, that majority of the people are able to get. You can substitute with chebe powder, but in this case, you wouldn't have to use a lot, because you don't want that particles to be on your hair and then it becomes too difficult for you to wash it out. If you do not have black castor oil, normal castor oil, I tell you, is also good. And what is also very important is that you do not introduce water to this solution. As soon as you introduce water to this solution, you are going to have bacteria and fungi and all kinds in this preservative. Once you put anything in this remedy that has water, have it at the back of your mind that it has to be preserved. This is to scrub your scalp, especially for those of us that are thinning around our edges, those of us that are thinning in the middle of your hair. This is to be scrubbed on your scalp. You can also use it as your hair on your hair, as it strengthens. It also helps to strengthen your hair. But I believe that a good hair growth starts from the scalp. So if you do it on your scalp, that is perfect. You want to, in circular motions, you just want to scrub it for 5-10 minutes if you have the time, and then rinse it out. Twice a week, I always tell people to try to do this, try twice a week to at least see result, and do it a couple of times. This is not something that you want to do for 1 month, 2 months, and then you'll be like, it's not working. It has to be consistent for you to see results. And then this is done. I go ahead and I put it in my, scoop it out, and I put it in a clean jar. I am going to link the measurements in the description. For those of us that would want to buy some of this, I am also going to link some of the places where I got the ingredients that I use. I'm going to link them in my description box. You can do as much that you want to do, but I love to do something that is worth 2 weeks at a time. And when you dip your ends, be careful that your ends are not wet. Don't forget, you don't want to introduce water to this solution. This is it. It has no smell. Some people are sensitive. If you like fragrance, you can put a little bit of peppermint, a little bit of tea tree oil. I suggest tea tree oil because tea tree oil helps with itchy and dry scalp. So tea tree oil is going to go a long way. I might just add some tea tree, just 1 or 2 drops of tea tree oil to my solution. And that's all that I have for us today. Watch out again for more herbal remedies, as I am going to be doing more herbal remedies on this channel. Stay blessed, and don't forget to subscribe, share and comment, and keep watching. God bless you.